NJ, NJ, come here.
Hi guys.
Yes.
Let me meet one thing. Me have to do and let me alone get that. Me have to do and can get it done.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Beatrice.
Good evening.
Good evening, John.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, good evening.
No, man, what the go on?
You tell you hear me. What? You know, and them know I do the pan me. Go and see me. NJ, come here.
All right, you gotta mute yourself.
Okay, all right. Mute, okay. That's good?
We can still hear you. We can hear you talking before. Guys, we will start like in I think like 5 minutes. I'll just give people a chance to get in.
Hi, just doing an audio check. Can you hear me?
Okay,
Hey, John.
hey, how you doing?
Good, how are
Happy,
you?
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Is anyone on from DOT?
Hi, my name is Dorisa Cruz. I'm here from DOT.
Okay, thanks, Teresa. How about Doria Avenue? Anyone from Doria Avenue? So, Doria Avenue. How about PS 68? Anyone on from PS 68? How about PS 189?
Yes, I'm here.
And who? Kevin Perez?
No, James Bellin. I'm
Okay.
the principal of PS 189.
I'm sorry, you're the principal?
I'm the principal of PS 189.
Okay.
Thank you.
What's good, John?
Not much. No, just actually excited about this meeting.
Ooh, if you're excited, I'm excited. I'm excited that Norbert's here. Hey, George. Hey, Inspector Nunes. Hey, Beatrice.
George, are you gonna
No,
tape?
it's me. I had to log on under his name. It's Ursula.
What up?
Okay, you want me to tape or are you gonna tape it?
It's George. I mean, John Tetrup. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's recording.
Okay.
I don't know how to give it to you.
Okay. Don't worry about it.
Hi, Alfredo. Hello, everybody.
What's going on, Inspector?
Hello.
Hi, Beatrice.
Hola, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody. I'm Miss Samuels. Hey, Luke.
Hey, Alfred, I just saw on Facebook there,
So,
the 47 precinct confiscated like 3 or 4 vans or something like that.
that's just that's just the beginning. They did a sweep the other day also. You could thank our inspector. They did a
Yeah.
sweep the other day also.
Thanks a lot, man. There was a guy right by the train station at Dyer Avenue. He literally had a table out there and selling, it's unbelievable. These people.
Yeah, we did a lot of work over there. We were able to get a lot of resources and tow a lot of abandoned autos. I think it was a total of 17.
Yeah.
Over on I think it was Dyer Ave, Dyer and Roundabouts.
Okay, great.
Now that we're here, we still got a little bit of time. Madam Chair, Ms. Beatrice, this is our Inspector Nunes. Inspector Nunes, this is our new chair, Ms.
A
Beatrice.
pleasure to meet you. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction, Alfredo. A pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
We should get a little bit of introductions because, first, I'm going to introduce our chair, Ms. Beatrice Carnell.
Thank you all. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. Looking forward to
Inspector,
getting work done this year.
Inspector Nunez is on from the 47. James Bellon is from PS 189. And we got Luke Zabato. Who else? Oh yeah, Dara Cruz is from DOT. Benga is from the community board. Holly Malone,
I am also from DOT.
DOT.
I work with
Okay.
Teresa.
I'm actually taking notes, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry if I can. There's quite a few of us from the Bronx team for DOT. It's also Jesus Soto, Kevin
Okay.
Perez, and Renee Luciano. We're all from the Bronx Borough Commissioner's Office.
Great, great, great.
Keith is on vacation, so he wasn't able to make it.
Thank you. Taking notes. Okay. Again, good evening, everyone. It's actually January 12th, 2023, and we're gonna pick up where we left off last year. There's no one here from PS68, but PS68 and PS189 essentially are having the same problems where the area where the kids are being dispatched, um, it's unsafe, and I think even a kid got hurt. So we're trying to somehow create a bridge between the 47 precinct and DOT to find a safer solution for the kids. I guess we will start off with the principal of PS 189, and he could tell us what's going on. We can't hear you, James.
All right. Sorry. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the time this evening. So I am principal of PS 189. We're a campus school off of Boston Road. The concerns we have with the traffic flow is that it's not safe for any of the students that attend the three schools in the building. Currently, there's posted signs for one way for first thing in the morning and dismissal. Those signs are not obeyed by traffic. Cars consistently make the left turn up Steenwick Avenue from 95 from Reeds Mill Lane, or they make the right turn up from 95. And in particular, during busing, it becomes a major issue. In addition, throughout the school day, there are cars speeding by as families are trying to cross the streets, which creates another safety hazard. We have had incidents where school buses have been struck by other vehicles. Uh, we've had incidents where there have been fist fights between people in cars trying to squeeze by, because if you have ever traveled down Steenwick Avenue, it gets very narrow as you get towards where the school is. It is a two-lane street, but for some reason, as you get down closer to the school, there is a bottleneck, and that does cause a lot of problems. So again, the major concern is the safety of the students, and the area on Steenwick Avenue is where the students from PS 723, which is a District 75 school that's housed in our building, that's where their busing takes place. So, and again, as I've said, there has been accidents with the buses where they have been struck with cars.
Great. I just want to note that in our last meeting, that our committee made a motion, and it was passed that we requested a DOT turn Steinwick into a one-way going towards the 95 to protect the safety of the kids coming out to school. And I held off from at our last board meeting from presenting it because I wanted to speak to Keith and DOT, because there are major obstacles with the rock outcropping that's coming out into the road and stuff. So I just want to let it be known that we do recommend that it's turned into a one-way street going, I guess, south towards the 95. Ms. Cruz?
Yes.
Do you know why like that street was never like turned into a two-way or made safer? Or was it an issue of just demoing that rock? Or
Usually the way that it works is through a builder's pavement plan. The person developing that property would have had to build the roadway plus half the roadway plus 5 feet. If I had to take a guess just by looking at it, it looks like it hasn't been developed, and that's why that portion looks the way it looks.
based on the committee's recommendation, do you see any issues with us turning into a one-way going south?
So I don't see any issues at the moment. The only thing I will say is when we look at one-way conversions, we will determine like the direction that it will go in. And we
Okay.
will come back and let the community board know what we determined.
All right, great.
So I know you guys are requesting it in one direction, but I'm just letting you know that.
Yeah, so that's why I just want to let you know that that we did pass it. So if you guys approve it, then we're ready to go.
Okay, it takes about 3 months to study that request, just in case.
Okay. Luke?
Hey, thanks. So one thing I want to know from DOT is, does DOT recommend one-way conversions as the most effective way to make this safer for school pickup and drop off? Are there other ways, or is this a pretty well-known way to make this safer?
So I feel like it's hard to answer that question because there wasn't a study submitted for this. We actually have a school safety division that looks at safety around schools. If you would like to put in for that, they might have other things in our toolkit that they could recommend. However, a one-way is one of the ways to resolve the issues that is happening here.
Okay. Right, great. So the other school that we're looking, is there more questions on PS 189?
I just have one question. With the study that would be done, typically, we have had this request in before, and those studies are done, have been done in the past over the summer when there's very few students in school or none at all when the school's closed. Is there a possibility that this study can be done when schools open for regular school hours? So that we can actually see the impact of the traffic on in that roadway and how the danger presents itself to the students and the community at large?
Yeah, especially if the request is submitted now, we can definitely take a look at it before school closes.
Thank you.
I have a comment regarding what can be done to make the pedestrian safety over on Steenwick. This was brought to my attention, I think, back in October in our pre-committee council meeting by actually a bus driver who attended one of our meetings. And what we did is we dropped off barriers. We dropped off barriers to the school. That's so that they can close that school block during arrivals and dismissals. So that was one measure that we took. We've done enforcement in the area. The problem with enforcement is that it has a temporary effect. Once you issue a few summonses, generally people will stop speeding or committing moving violations, but then that levels off. So the best way, and I don't have the personnel, there's 53 schools in the 4-7 precinct. There's no way I could post a cop at each school during arrivals and dismissals. So the best way to manage and kind of curb the risk and increase pedestrian safety at these schools is basically just to drop off barriers and have the school block off the block during arrivals and dismissals, and that's what we did.
Luke, you have a question?
Thanks. So just a couple of comments. One from with DOT. So you said that it would take 3 months to study a one-way conversion, and then there's a separate process through which you'd study this with your school safety team. Are those two processes things that you'd need to initiate only when you have like a resolution from the board, or is this meeting, bringing up these issues, is that enough to initiate DOT to study these?
So I can initiate a school safety study based on this meeting. However, a one-way conversion, I would need the board to actually tell me that they want us to study that.
Okay, so we'll make a motion and to have that done.
And how long does that school safety study take?
It's the same amount of time, 12 weeks.
Okay, and those run concurrent or?
They can, yes, they can.
Okay.
And our school
And
safety team will actually go to the school and talk with the school about the issues.
that's great. I just want to bring up a couple other points. One from our last meeting, the one challenge with barricades is that a lot of times from what we've heard from the schools, they don't have the staffing. You know, these teachers are teaching all day, and to expect them to become traffic agents is a lot of additional responsibility, especially when it's very chaotic. So I just want to make that note that we can't leave it all up to our teachers and school staff to solve this problem. And additionally, I think when we were talking at the last meeting about this, we were informed by the school that approximately only 25% of students are using the school buses. And as we know, congestion is caused when each student has each person a car. So I'm wondering if DOT or DOE has any strategies to increase how many families are using our busing services so that we can reduce the amount of vehicles at these very congested moments during the day.
In terms of DOT, I don't know that we are able to do that. Might want to check with DOE about that.
Um, I I really think it's hard to actually put up barricades because if you look at the street, I'm coming to you, Alfredo. I saw your hand. If you look at where they will put the barricade, there's a little street with that big hump that's coming towards the school, and if you put a barricade, you will have to actually put it at Boston Road because once someone cut in that block by the school, then you create a problem at Boston Road and um, Steinwick. Is you think that's the case, Principal Bellon?
Yes, we've had issues where during the busing, we have caused traffic jams up to Boston Road, where with the barricades when they're out, we have had that issue. We've also had issues with just motor vehicles not obeying them, trying to push through the barricades, driving around them, trying to squeeze in between them and the buses. So we have attempted to use the barricades. We did get four new lighter barricades. The aluminum ones dropped off. So we have tried blocking off at the corner of Steenwick and Reed's Mill. We have tried blocking off at Hollers, just not with much success. So we have implemented those barricades. It was I met with the police officer that dropped him off at the school. It was very timely. He dropped him off the day after I met him. We tried implementing them, but it is not as successful as originally planned.
Stuff. Alfredo, you have a comment?
A couple of things. Thank you, guys. Regarding I think 189, that I think we should do the recommendation for the studies. That's going to take time, but if we could make a motion today at committee level and then bring it to the board, because that's going to take time, and we could probably get some sort of resolution before we go on break in the summer. Regarding 64, regarding PS68, is Principal Soler here?
I haven't seen her yet, but we could present her issue because
Yeah, so Ms. Soler and PS68 had a similar situation in regards to vehicles not obeying the drop off and pickup of the kids. Our CO from the 47, Inspector Nunes, was nice enough to drop off some metal barricades, which Ms. Soler and her principal actually manned the post. So instead of her putting one of her employees, she's actually there in front of the barricade, making sure nobody cuts through it, and the vice principal is at the other end. So there is working. That's probably why they're not here, but it's working there. So the barricades, at least there, is working, and I think the parents are getting the hint that you know, we're doing this for your kids, because at the end of the day, it's the people that live in this neighborhood that are causing the problem. It's not nobody. It's not the teachers or the principals. Um, One thing she did do, she did send a letter to each parent in each kid's notebook stating that, you know, we need their help. And I think that also helped, because I mean, again, I was there myself one time and I seen, you know, people going around the barricades. But I think with the letter and you know, the principal being there actually helped out. So I want to thank the inspector for, you know, short notice him sending the barricades up there. Um, 189, again, I don't know that area too good. I mean, I drive through there and I know that Big Bump's been there for years. Um, I think when the school was built, they should have asked for this study back then. Because I mean, I've been on the community board for over 12, 13 years. I've never heard of this situation in 189. Never. So definitely today we should definitely do the recommendation for the studies for both school safety and DOT. Thank you, guys.
If I could just add one thing regarding PS 189, well, actually, all the schools, if we need more barriers to completely close off, so there's no space that would allow a car to actually go around the barriers, we could drop off more barriers. But then that would necessitate someone staying there, so when the school buses are pulling out, they can let the school buses out, which is a short time period. So if you need more barriers to close up the completely block off the roadway, we can drop off more barriers. You just have to let me know and I'll have them dropped off. Second thing, specifically for PS 189, I went back 56 days, so almost 2 months. I did not see any 911 calls for vehicle collisions on that block for a 500-foot radius. So I have not seen any collisions reported to us either via 911 or in another manner for that school.
All right, great. I would like to acknowledge Mrs. Dickinson. And again, Tolene, I would like to say thank you for helping plan this meeting and assisting with getting in contact with the principals. And good evening and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Good evening, family. You're going to make me blush. You're going to make me really sit over here and just start blushing and stuff. I see you blushing, Principal Bellin. I just want to thank Inspector Nunez. What a pleasure. Glad to see you safe. Just quickly, I don't know, some of the names I don't recognize. They might be from a couple of the schools that I contacted earlier today. Anybody who does not realize it, I am the Education and Youth Services Committee Chair, retired administrator, retired teacher. I went through all of this, as I said before, at Sousa at 142 on Baychester. I lived this same thing. I lived this too, so much so with students getting hit by cars and so on and so forth. I mean, it was a nightmare, but the only way we got it to work, Luke, in what you were saying, was because the staff, the parents, school safety, we had all kinds of volunteers, but I was out there, the APs were out there, the deans were out there, everyone from every school in the building that could be out there was out there, school aides, whoever, but mainly the community. Okay, mainly it was like some of the parents, and it was, you know, we had a lot of volunteers, but I don't know what else. Oh, as far as Principal Soler, she had something going on at her school tonight, so she wasn't able to come. Okay, I don't know if she has anybody else. Does anybody else on here from her school? Because she said she was going to try to get somebody. And as far as, what was it, 723, Miss Principal Bellin? Do we have somebody here from 723? 462? You're muted.
Sorry, no one from either of the co-located schools at my campus are here.
Okay, well, everybody was very excited, and I understand. I do understand. I all but did some swimming to get here. I was like stuck in traffic, having a fit. So I don't know what else you want to say. Yeah, you were going to say something to me, Luke? Or are you just gonna say something, period?
Oh, I was just going to say something, period, but I don't want to cut you off.
No, go ahead, go right ahead.
Well, thank you so much for all your diligence. Hearing your story, it makes me realize how much of a community-led, village kind of effort it takes in order to improve our safety conditions locally. I want to ask if DOT has received any of these school safety study requests from these other schools besides 189. And if so, what were the results of those? Are we able to, ask you tonight to study that? Because even though those schools aren't here, they're on our agenda and they've reached out to us around school safety.
I'm not aware that they've reached out, but I'd have to do a search like when I get back into the office tomorrow and I can check. But as of right now, no, I'm not aware that they've submitted any requests.
Okay, and what would constitute like the submission of a request? In order to initiate a school safety study, do you need an email from a principal or does it have to come from the board? How can we like let these principals know how to start these studies?
Sure, it can come from the board or it can come from the school directly. I can put my contact information in the chat just for future reference as well. And they can just contact me directly and we can input the study.
Awesome, that'd be really helpful. Thanks so much.
And Luke, the key word in that sentence is retirement. So that's why I'm here doing every possible thing you could think of, because I'm like dying to do something. And I was going to ask that everyone please put your contact information in the chat for me, just in case I don't have it already. I would appreciate it, because I really don't know a few people that are on here.
Ms. Dickinson, are we going to have a letter sent from the principals, or
You know what?
do we need to make a motion to have one from the board? I mean, even though the board already requested that, that it's turned into a one-way.
As far as I'm concerned, the more the merrier.
Okay.
Don't you think so, Principal Bellin?
Ursula?
Yes, I agree.
If we voted on it already, when George gets back, we'll just write the letter, or when you vote on it at the next one, he'll write the letter.
Yeah, we voted that not for the study. We voted to have it actually turn into a one-way.
Okay.
So I guess we could amend. We could revote tonight, make another motion.
Yeah.
I think the question also is it going to come from us or the principal? We don't want to overwhelm DOT also. So if we're going to do it, we'll do it, right? If they're going to do it, then let them do it.
Yeah, we'll send it in.
Okay.
We'll
All right.
send it in.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ars.
All right, let's do this proper. Could I get a motion to send a letter in support of having DOT prepare a study for PS 68 and PS 189?
Chairman, I want to say something before we take a vote.
Yes, Norbert, on readiness?
Yeah, I want to say something before we take a vote.
You have the floor, Norbert.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Okay.
Good evening.
I just want to piggyback on what the principal said about school bus and those vehicles that pick up students, drop them off at school. And I suggest that we make a motion also that is that DOT do a study and recommendation to use the school bus to pick up some of those children, and that will, I believe it will about 100% is that make the problem much more easier if the school bus get the opportunity to pick up students to take to school, because it's not as the speaker says, not now these traffic backed up is going on and students get hit, and it is going to continue. So if the buses can pick up students to take to school, will be better off. So I'm going to put it to the floor that we also make a motion and that also to Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So look,
It's not that easy.
I know that's it's kind of in line with what Luke was requesting. You know, is there a program where, you know, the kids are using the bus instead of having it's that's hard.
Mr. Chairman.
OPT is in charge of school buses, not DOT. And it's very hard even to do a general ed school bus. So that would not even happen. Years ago, OPT changed the rules years ago. And sadly, kids are given Metro cards at the grade of second grade. And it's not feasible.
Great.
Norbert, did you make a motion? Let's honor our board member. You made a motion, Norbert?
I speak, let me speak.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Is that you see, if our this thing, if it was in the white neighborhood, they would get school bus to pick up children, you know, but because it's in our black neighborhood, and that's why people vote, and is that struggle, we got to struggle. As Martin Luther King said, that some of us have to die, some of us have to go to jail, because we need that. These are foolishness. Is that every year people buy a car to drive, take the children to school, and it's causing more problem. Every year it gets more difficult, more than difficult every year. Every year, no is that you got to want to put up barrier, you got to put in one way. Is that we need to stand up. Stand up. That's why people vote. Politicians are there to grant money to can take care of what I'm talking about. We need to get the community, the parents involved, so they can make sure that when time to vote, they let them know that the student, we need bus to take them to school. If we do not do that, is that it's going to happen again. Students going to get hit by vehicle and fighting and those things, gun, all of them things going to draw, people get shot. If we don't stop those foolishness, we need to stop those foolishness. We can get it. Money is there. Money is there. Look at the prison they are building for our young people. They are building prison for children. So we need to stop those things and make sure that we put them under pressure there. That's why we vote. We vote to put them there. They can do it. They can do it. Money is there. Money is there to take care of those students to go on the bus. Shake your head. Shake your head. I know what I'm talking about. They can done. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Norbert. So we would have to pick that up with another part of the agency that deals with it. Could I get a motion in line to so Norbert? Norbert, you brought before us that we should try to have the parents send the kids to school on buses. But
yes. No,
right now, we don't have the agency right now in front of us to handle that. So we have DOT here with us tonight. And while we will work on that, and you and I with Ursula, and let's see if we could get DOT to do the studies while we figure that out. And who we got to contact, okay? Because that's something else that we need to go a different route. All right, Norbert?
Whatever road we got to go, but we need to take care of our children. They are the men and women after, so we need to take care of them. That's what we're here. We're not only here to just speak, we must make action done. We need to put politicians under pressure. That's why we vote. That's why they vote. That's why when time to vote, yesterday sent a letter to parents and ask them to vote for them. Money is there. If they want money to make prison, they get money. They know where to go to get money to make prison for our young men and women to put them behind bars. So they need to find money and do that. That's the thing we must make sure we do for our children and grandchildren and children to come. We must that's what we are on the board to do, make sure that they are okay. It's going to get worse if we don't stop something. We got to do that. Go ahead, Mr. Chairman, I'm finished.
Okay, like Debbie said, buses are not the DOT's responsibility, it's not their jurisdiction. Alfredo,
I was gonna second the motion if Norbert made the motion, but did he? Did you make a motion, Norbert, or no?
Not yet. I was speaking about our children. That's safe. That's one. That's why I want to make that motion. But go ahead, and I will go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So to stay on focus on what the meeting's about.
let's stay on focus with the meeting, please.
I make a motion that DOT, Bronx Borough Office, and Department of Education's School Safety Divisions make independent studies of PS 189 and 68. And we could pass that motion today so we could bring it up to the board, and then Ursula can send out the letters to the respective agencies, and we can move from there. Thank you.
Can I get a second?
Second, I second. Second.
Can I amend the motion, or request an amendment?
Okay.
Just to add the conversion, the one-way conversion.
Yes.
Okay.
And the one-way conversion was already approved. So as soon as the study is done and they give us the okay, we could go ahead and do it.
Got it. Thanks. I vote to approve as well.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Motion carries. Is there anyone here from Doria Avenue? Doria? All right, so I will table that. Doria Avenue is a block that's right off of 233rd, East 233rd and Strang. And someone, I think, went to the councilman's office and was requesting a one-way conversion also, because they said the cars speed through that block. I live like 2 blocks away from that, and the cars speed through my block also. And I don't think that every time cars speed through our block, especially when there is no school. My block have a school on it at the corner, Wake Eden, the little church school, and we haven't converted it into a one-way. So I don't, I really want to speak to this person, because if you start changing all the blocks into one-ways, we're creating a bad precedent. When it comes time for us to convert the streets for the protection of the kids, that's a different story. I work for DOT, so I drive all over New York City, because we send our gardeners out to all these different sites to work, and a lot of the blocks were actually turned into one-way to protect the kids. So I just want to put that out there that it's being done in Queens and in Brooklyn and stuff like that. All right. Is there anything else anyone would like to bring to the committee? Actually, Luke, we have DOT here, so we could probably start talking to Darissa about that connection that you were talking about and see if we could get some feedback. And also, I know, Alfredo, you had a question also for DOT. So we could start with Luke.
So one question that I had, that this connection that I'm talking about is a part of the Metro North stations that are coming in. One is coming into Co-op City, and I'm not sure if DOT is involved in this or would be involved in any of the infrastructure, but as the MTA is proposed, they're only going to give access to the station to a sliver of the land that's surrounding it, pretty much just kind of the northeast area. But there's a lot of neighborhood right off of Gun Hill Road that if we built a pedestrian path around a highway interchange, it would expand the access to the station to double. But I don't think you guys are the agency, but I just want to also explain this to our board and the transportation committee. Happy to share more info, but I actually was hoping to speak about a couple different items really quickly. I had shared with John a list of different initiatives that I'm interested in seeing if there's any appetite for here in the neighborhood and in the district. One of them is Boston Road. It was deemed a Vision Zero priority corridor in 2015, which means that it's cited by the city as one of the most dangerous corridors in the Bronx, in the borough. And so DOT hasn't initiated any safety improvements, but beyond maybe some intersection improvements like lead pedestrian intervals. But I'd like to know if DOT has any plans to make this corridor safer. It's still a Vision Zero priority corridor, and what can we do to make this? You know, are there any redesigns in the works? It's very I've talked to business owners on the stretch. It can be very difficult to cross the street. There aren't any pedestrian islands, and it's comes at an angle, so these crosswalks are really long. I'm wondering if DOT has studied that at all and is in the works of giving us any kind of presentation about Boston Road.
So in terms of Boston Road, we are taking a look at that location and we're in the process of doing a study. And once we have a plan, we'll come back to the committee to show you.
Actually, Luke, you missed it, but I think it was like either a year or 2 years ago, someone came. Alfredo is shaking his head, and we actually received a presentation about Boston Road and how the future of Boston Road would look. And they envision like Boston Road being like step back with like plazas and all the car dealerships will be gone, and there will be like residential buildings with commercial units at the bottom. So they actually revamped that whole corridor, starting from like Arlington Avenue area all the way up to the Dyer Avenue area, up in that Corner Street area.
Yeah,
So
that was a master planner that came in um, from our Bronx Borough Zoning Division, and they did a very beautiful presentation
yeah,
regarding the whole entire Boston Road and how could it be converted, with rezonings and stuff like that. I know Allerton Avenue just got rezoned, so I don't know if that's coming this way, but definitely look at something that I don't know if Ursula might have that old presentation, but definitely they came, city planning came, and they did do a beautiful presentation with a Bronx, um, with a the gentleman came and he did the sketches and everything. It was really nice, but I mean, that was like 5-6 years ago, to be exact.
Alfredo, imagine how that intersection of where the school is at would look if you know if they went with that plan where it's high rises with plazas and
Yeah, I mean,
that
listen,
would have fixed that whole problem that the
it's a
school has.
beautiful thing, but to change the zoning, and again, eventually it's gonna come, and a lot of people on Boston Road is gonna benefit from it. A lot of people there, especially all those guys that have the dealers, because they're gonna be able to put towers there. But it's not just putting towers. We spoke about putting restaurants, gyms, community centers. So we spoke about a lot of stuff that could be done in Boston Road. Anyway,
Did we vote on it?
that was just a presentation. No, we
Still, it
didn't
was
vote
just
on
a
it.
presentation. They
Okay,
wanted to
presentation.
just show us the vision and get ideas and start thinking about it. Like the other day I was driving and I noticed one of the dealerships were like empty out at the corner of Corner Street and Boston Road. And the first time I said, wait, probably they're gonna turn this into a tower or something.
Nah, he's just repaving the asphalt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
Actually,
let me just get my question in before DOT leaves.
yeah.
Yesterday we had a meeting for the 47 precinct council at the community board, and one of the community members that was there, actually one of the gentlemen from Bragg, Bronx Rises Against Gun Violence, they have a satellite office on 233rd and Barnes. He mentioned if I could bring it to committee that in front of the entrance to their office, it's really dark, and they want to see how the city could probably put maybe 1 or 2 light posts there. It's between it's in their building is on 233rd and Barnes, around the corner from the Morris Heights Health Center. So I know where they're getting at, because I mean, if you go there now, it's really dark.
Yes.
So they want to put maybe like 1 or 2 street lights there. So I don't know if that's something DOT can maybe look at, or probably send someone from DOT there, or if they could tell us who we can speak to regarding trying to put 2 street lights there. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, the community board can just send us a request to do a streetlight study at that location, and we'll get back to you on our determination whether we can add some additional poles, or if there are poles already there, maybe we can make the lights brighter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take care of it tomorrow.
Thank you, Urs. You're the best. Thank you.
If there anything else anyone would like to bring before I proceed to close? Anything else? Tolene, again, thank you so much for all you do. Anything else, Alfredo? And Alfredo, thank you.
No, thank you, guys. Thank you, Luke, everyone, the CEO for taking this time, DOT definitely for bringing the whole gang. We appreciate you guys. And let's get to work. We got this.
Okay, all right. Darissa, before we leave, any updates on the Gun Hill project?
In terms of the bus lanes?
I mean, they were supposed to be working on the lower part going down to the Bronx River. I think that's the hinge pin of this whole design, I think.
So we're actually going to have another community advisory board meeting, and we'll present the updates on that project. Should be sometime in February.
All right, great.
One last question. So some of the things that have come up today and on email are the lack of sidewalks in some areas. I know I once did a walkthrough with the council member on Tillotson Avenue. We spoke to the former DOT commissioner about putting a sidewalk in, and we've talked tonight about Steenwick Avenue and how there's no sidewalk. I'm wondering if there would be possibility of asking like DDC or the Economic Development Corporation to build sidewalks here at Tillotson and at Steenwick. Does anybody have any appetite for writing a resolution? Or I mean, I'm happy to help write that. Yeah.
Look, I think I asked Darissa that question, and she was telling me it was the property owners. So I don't know if Darissa, could we go about trying to do something like that without the property owner's permission?
So when I mentioned that sidewalks are the responsibility of the property owner, in order to do any sort of construction of sidewalks, that would have to go through capital. So you'd have to make a capital request in order to get funding in order to do a project like that.
Takes forever.
Yeah. But you can request it, and we can take a look.
Do you know, Beatrice or John, when the budget request cycle is? Maybe we could get in these 2 streets just to put our hat in the ring.
All right, great. Ursula?
Yeah, that I think already passed. Ursula, the one for
Yeah, we won't put in request again until September. I'll check to see if it's in, and I'll let you know tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, guys. Can I get a motion to close?
I move, Mr. Chairman, that we.
Herbert, you have a question?
No, I just want to close.
Yeah, we lost you.
I just want to make the motion to close. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thanks, guys. It was great. DOT, thank you for coming out.
Thank you so much for having us.
Nunez.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Stay safe, everybody.
Take care.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Please stay
Urs.
safe.
Nice.
God blessings.
Isaac. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Peace. Police inspector. Enjoy the meeting finish, so I can go to church. So the meeting finish. Can go finish.
Welcome and thank you for choosing freeconferencecall.com. You are helping people around the world communicate for free. Please enter your access code followed by the pound or hash sign. You are the host. Press star now. Otherwise, please wait and you will be joined into the conference.
You can know the charge of that, you know. Turn up what? It's one turn up. One turn up. One turn up.